Hey everybody, and welcome back to this Let's Play of Monster Hunter World. As usual, I'm Bill. Sorry it hasn't been an update in a couple of weeks, been pretty busy. But here we're back. And we're about to fight the Queen of the Skies, Rathian. Rathian's a monster that's been around since 1st gen, I believe, and she's pretty much the female counterpart to Rathalos. She's fire-breathing dragon, just like Rathalos. She has a poison tail. Actually, no. Rathalos got poison claws. Rathian has got a poison tail. This does have a distinction. This does distinguish the two because it changes which attacks they use that will poison you. But it's not going to be too much of an issue today. I've made sure to wear my best fire resisting gear, which is Anjanath gear, and we're also using the Anjanath horn. Now you might be wondering, Ibble, why are you using a fire weapon against a fire dragon? Well, the raw damage done by this is still decently high. The fact that the fire damage won't do much honestly isn't too bad. And I just made a max potion just in case I really needed it. But yeah, so the fire, like any kind of elemental damage, is always basically bonus damage. So it's not the end of the world if the element isn't that great against the monster that you're fighting. What we really want from the Anjanath horn are the songs, because Anjanath horn actually has a good selection of songs. It's got, I believe, stamina usage reduction, always good because I like to dodge a lot. That's my playstyle. Also, I remember to bring flash pods along because Rathian doesn't fly as much as Rathalos, but it is useful to get her down underground a couple times. This might be the first time I've actually used flash pods in this Let's Play, but basically all you need to know is that it forces flying monsters down to the ground. Where was I? So yeah, Anjanath horn. It's got stamina usage reduction. It's got wind pressure negation, which is useful against some of Rathian's attacks because some of her attacks she uses her wings to blow at you, and then you'll be like mini stunned if you don't have wind resistance. This horn also has defense up, small, which as always is quite useful. It's got a small heal, and then it's also got a song which is small heal plus antidote, which is, as you can imagine, extremely useful against a poison dragon like Rathian. Rathian's generally where you get poison weapons other than Puke. Annoyingly, the horn that she makes is fire, but hey, let's get smashing. So yeah, general weak spots: head, tail if you got a slicing weapon, parts of her wings, and if you've got some really fast weapons like dual blades or sword and shield, you go for her legs, because that'll trip her over. As you saw just now, she did a little backflip in the air, and if her tail hits you during that attack, you will get poisoned. I believe it get hit later on, but it's not too much of an issue because hey, we've got an antidote song. So yeah, I used a flash pod. If right after she came down flying, if she was flying at the time, she would have been stunned for quite a while. But even though she wasn't flying at the time, it does confuse them for a while. Now the flash pod only works if the monster's actually looking at it, so you can't shoot behind their head. You know, can't shoot them behind the head and stun them like that. It has to be in front of your face. So what I usually do is I usually just shoot the floor right in front of me because the monster tends to be looking at me. So it's a decent way of doing it, I guess. But yeah, Rathian's very ground-based compared to Rathalos. That flip attack is basically the only real time she flies around. Yep. She's got 2 fireball patterns. So if she just rears her head back a little bit, she does one fireball, like straight ahead of her. And if she rears her head back a lot, she does 3 fireballs in kind of like a center right left pattern. I believe that's how it is. But yeah, as you saw earlier, we got poisoned because she hit us with her tail. Just remember, even though Rathian has a similar move, it doesn't. I don't believe it poisons you. It's his claws that poison you. As you can see just now, we managed to hit Rathian in the legs when she was flying about, and that actually brought her crashing to the ground. I believe if you hit a monster enough times while it's in the air, you can stagger it onto the ground. And there's a triple fire breath. As you can saw earlier, just now we broke her head, and I think that gives it a chance of the fireball failing, and she'll basically just like sputter out for a bit and won't do a fireball. This is actually quite a good run for this LP, I'd say. We've got a lot of head stuns going. Like we actually managed to stun her a lot, which for me is surprising, I guess you could say. But yeah, now she's flown off. She's not super hard to track. I don't think she goes into the cave with Diablos, and the canyony area. I don't think she really goes there very much. She hangs out here in the swampish areas of the Wildspire Waste, and she goes up to the big desert part, but that's about it in terms of where she goes. You can also fight Rathian in the Ancient Forest. She shows up there a decent amount with Rathalos. The converse is not true. I don't think Rathalos comes to the Wildfire Waste at all. So yeah, Ancient Forest is the only place where you can fight them together. And they actually don't fight each other at all. I don't think they can damage each other. There's no turf war or anything. But yeah, they actually help each other, which makes sense because they're mates and stuff. Literally. But yeah, see, her fireball fizzled out, and that's because we broke her head earlier. Oh, it's very useful. But yeah, Rathian also has a spin attack that she does now. So yeah, she always spins twice from right to left. And I'm dumb and I stand in front of her. But yeah, that's every Rathian spin. It's always from right to left, and it always goes twice. Just like that. Sometimes I'm dumb and I forget. And hey, I actually managed to flinch her with a hilt stab, which I thought was quite funny, if you caught it just now. Once you've started breaking a decent amount of monster parts, I think if you hit them in places that you've already broken, you can flinch them from their attacks. Well, which is obviously really useful because you can interrupt some really strong attacks. That's her other flying move. It's kind of like a dive bomb, slightly. I did use the flash a bit late, but it makes her confused and it makes her attack less. So that's always useful. I believe it also keeps her grounded. It's a good thing I've got fire resistant armor. But to be honest, as long as you got a decent defense, oh, yeah, there we go. We actually managed to knock her down from the sky for once. But yeah, as long as you've got decent defense, you'll be able to resist most of Rathian's moves. Because her only fire move is her fireballs. And if you don't stay in front of her, it's not really going to matter that much. Whether you got decent fire resist or not. And similarly, oh yeah, I forgot about the second spin there, temporarily. But yeah, similarly, if you never get hit by the tail spin, if you never get hit by the tail flip, I should say, you're not gonna have to worry about antidotes or anything like that. I mean, in my case, I'm not that great, so I do have to worry about it. There we go, another flinch. Maybe one day, I will actually be able to use the hilt stab to actually cut off a tail. Today is not that day, because I couldn't be bothered, and also I'm pretty bad about remembering to use the hilt stab, but maybe one day I'll actually cut off a tail. There are some monsters where you do need the tail to make most of their arm equipment in general. So, actually Nergigante is one of those. I believe every single one of his weapons needs 2 tails, and the gloves needs a tail each. As in each version. I'll explain that later, but basically, to get all your options from Nergigante, you're gonna want 2 tails for both versions of the gloves, and 2 tails per weapon. And we managed to knock her down from the sky again. But yeah, the problem is I usually fight Nergigante with weapons that can't cut, or like it's hard to cut. So things like bowguns, they do have slicing ammo that does let you cut tails, but it's such a pain in the ass to do it. But yeah, we've got Rathian down limping. Might be able to keep her around for a bit longer, just so we can bash the shit out of her, but there's no point. She's gonna fly off one way or another soonish. And another fizzed fireball. So I hope that I kind of wait by this Paratoad, hoping she's gonna come towards me and hoping I could like paralyze her for a while. But she decides not to, so I just go fuck it. I'm just gonna bash the hell out of her because we've also managed to exhaust her using our continued blunt attacks. And that's why she was just like standing there for quite a while whilst we were waiting at the Paratoads. I might not have said this before, but blunt attacks along with stun damage to the head also do exhaust damage to the rest of the body. And if you manage to build up a monster's exhaust gauge, just like any other status, they will like just kind of stand around a bit, you know, be tired, not use attacks. Which is always great for giving yourself more windows. And I think the only real ways you can use this, get exhaust damage, that is from blunt weapons like hammer and hunting horn. Switch axes that have the exhaust file, so I think the Great Jagras switch axe has exhaust. Might be the only one actually. And then exhaust ammo on bowguns. So yeah, I think this is the first time I used Mega Barrel Bombs, mostly because I made some. Just had bits for it. And basically, if you don't have a super hard hitting attack, you're going to want to use these Barrel Bombs to wake up monsters because, hey, sleeping monsters take double damage from the first hit, so might as well use Barrel for it. And there we go. Our first Rathian down. I am going to say that this is going to be a very Rathian heavy video, in that we only fight Rathians. I was trying to capture Rathian afterwards as well, so I could unlock the special arena quest and actually show that off, but no such luck. But basically I recorded some light bowgun gameplay with the Rathian, so we're gonna see that after doing that egg delivery quest that's also on our optionals quest list. We're gonna do that because that's quite quick. It's just an egg delivery quest. I was showing it off before. But then, yeah, we're gonna show off the light bowgun, which is one of the weapons I'm better at, because I did mostly heavy bowgun during my main playthrough. And light bowgun is basically just the faster, zippier version of heavy bowgun. Doesn't hit as hard, but it's got mobility to make up for it. So yeah, we got a bunch of Rathian parts. Her armor's not too bad. It's pretty decent actually. But yeah, I'll show it off once we get there. And we've actually unlocked more items at the farm.
Let's go on an
So
expedition out in the Great Ravine.
we'll gotta check that out soon. Just gotta pet the Poogie. Always pet the Poogie.
Yes.
Blah 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 blah. Tell me more about Rathian, and then I forgot to look at the thing.
Oh man.
So yeah, we've unlocked some stuff here. Yeah, it turns out I forgot to swap out some stuff. But yeah, we've unlocked a bunch of mushrooms and bugs that we can now grow. And I put in some fungi fertilizer, but then immediately swapped to flash bugs because I was like, oh yeah, I'm out of flash pods and I don't have any flash pod materials. But don't worry, next thing I managed to remember to put in summoner jelly instead. That increases your yields for bugs. Eventually I won't have to deal with fertilizer stuff. There's stuff we unlock later that makes it easier. But first let's check out this high metal gear that we unlocked once we got some Dragonite ore from Zora. It's not the sexiest armor unless you really like thighs, which is fair enough, I guess. But yeah, it's not a great looking armor, but it's decent skills. And this is the Rathian armor. Again, it's not bad. Botanist is not great for combat, obviously, but everything else is quite useful, I find. And it looks pretty good. It's classic princessy look, I guess you could say. Rathian does have a hunting horn. It's a fire hunting horn, which is kind of annoying because it'd be cool if it was poison, because not many things are weak to fire, but poison is always pretty useful. It does have a unique look, and it shares the same songs as the Vespoid horn, but hey, those songs weren't bad, and it's got a unique look, and that means it's got a unique sound, and I'll try and make one by the next video. And this is the Palico Rathian gear, and your cat has to be a little pretty princess, and that's amazing. We can only make one bit of the Rathian gear at the moment, but I'm gonna save that for later. I feel. Don't mind me. Just a bit of a cold. Blah blah blah. So now, this is the point I decided I want to show off a light bowgun. So I was just looking at what I could upgrade it into. And what we are going to upgrade it into is not the Chain Blitz. We are going to upgrade it into... not that one either. So I'm looking at the various ammo capabilities of these bowguns. And you'll notice that there are two categories, basically, recoil and reload. And recoil, it's important to get it to +2 because recoil is the amount of time in between each shot that basically pushes you back and you can't move. Recoil +2 is the point where you can keep moving whilst shooting. Reload, you want to get it to normal or fast because anything slower than normal means you have to stop whilst you are shooting. So the best point is the magic point is recoil 2 and normal reload. Anything higher than that is tough but not impossible to use as a main ammo. It's not recommended, but some things like sticky ammo have like naturally high recoil, so it's hard to use it properly. But we're gonna go with the Barref light bowgun because what it can do is a special thing that light bowguns have, which is rapid fire. So rapid fire applies to specific ammos for each heavy bowgun. In this case, it's normal ammo 2 and spread ammo 1 that it can rapid fire, and that's the little fast forward yellow arrow next to the ammo. Now, what this means is it uses up for each ammo of that type that you shoot. It does 3 damage instances, and each instance is about 70% damage of normal, as in like what it normally is. So this is effectively a double and a bit damage in terms of how much it does in comparison to just a single shot. And this is obviously very useful for hitting harder. And the light bowgun needs this because it's not a very hard hitting weapon, but it is a very, very maneuverable weapon. And alongside its mines, which I'll explain soon enough, you can actually do a decent amount of damage with the light bowgun. So yeah, the light bowgun's controls themselves are not particularly hard. Oh yeah, before I do that, I should talk about light bowgun mods, which you saw me doing just now. So for bowguns, you can slot in mods, and the number of mods that you can slot in depends on the rarity of your bowgun. So at this early stage, I can only slot in 1 mod, but soon enough I can slot in 2 and eventually 3. And what these do is they let you reduce your recoil, reload, deviation, which is how much your reticle moves after each shot. You can increase close range attacks, you can increase long range attack, as in increase how much they hit. And if you have a heavy bowgun, you can slot in shield. You can slot in shield mods, but which act like a shield, but I'll talk about that once we show off the heavy bowgun. So yeah, light bowguns can't slot that, so effectively you only need to worry about recoil, reload, deviation, close attack up, or long range attack up. At this point, I slotted in close range attack, but later on you see me swap it out for recoil because for some ammos it would be useful to have that one recoil in, and the damage up isn't bad, but at this point I wanted to bring recoil down to manageable levels because recoil 4 is especially unmanageable, and it really sucks having recoil 4. And you want, if you've got to choose between bringing down recoil or bringing down reload, I would say bring down recoil, because reload, if you have to stop and reload, you can at least learn good timings for reloads to happen. But recoil affects every single shot that you do, because after every shot you'll have a recoil animation, and you want to minimize that, so it's really important for recoil to be quite low. The problem with light bowguns in comparison to heavy bowguns is they tend to have higher recoil values because it's a smaller weapon. So when it comes to light bowguns, like sometimes you can just have 3 recoil mods or 2 recoils and a reload in, and I think that's most. I actually think that's most light bowguns at endgame level. It sucks that there's not much, too much decision making when it comes to mods, but it is what it is. I feel like heavy bowguns tend to have slightly more interesting decision making, because you need to decide whether you want to bring a shield or not, or whether you can afford bringing in more close-up attack boosts in exchange for less reload or recoil. You know what I mean. But yeah, this is your average egg hunting quest. As you saw earlier, I brought along the Kulu gloves to get the pro transporter skill, and I've got my ghillie mantle, which I really want because this time around we're not just stealing any monster's eggs, we are stealing Rathian / Rathalos eggs. And if we did not have the ghillie mantle, we would immediately aggro the Rathian in the map, and it doesn't matter where on the map she is, she will come flying directly towards us. That's if we don't have the ghillie mantle, or if the ghillie mantle runs out whilst you are running, and we might see that soon enough. But yeah, it's because you can't get back the way you came into the Rathian's nest, Raph's nest, I should say. Because you gotta crawl a bit, and you can't crawl with an egg. we've got to take the long way around. And luckily, it's not too long. Because I believe the time I did this quest on my main character, I actually took off the Ghillie Mantle and let it recharge and then put it back on just so I could get full recharge. But this time around, I kind of wanted to risk it a bit. And we'll see how that paid off soon enough. So here we go. Back to the nest, grab another egg. And at this point, I kind of noticed that the meter on the top left is starting to get quite low. And you just gotta run. You've just got to run. Because if the Rathian comes along and decides to attack you, then you drop the egg and you gotta try all over again. It's not the worst thing in the world, though. She'll chase you most places, but she won't chase you right into camp, so yeah. As long as you get to camp, you're safe. Oh, and there she is! And hey, our Ghillie Mantle just ran out. What good timing. If I didn't know any better, I would have sworn that the devs like specifically programmed in that timing. I would not be surprised if they did. But yeah, now we've just got to run. I'm not sure if she actually chases us up here, but I would not be surprised if she does. The music does get loud when she's around, but maybe she didn't. Maybe she didn't. I wouldn't know. I didn't look back. But yeah, there we go. That's another very exciting quest, I should say. Haha, haha, ha, ha, ha. So yeah, there we go. And the Muscular Chef gets another ingredient. I probably should get around to filling up the menu on my main character as well, to be honest.
Let's go on an expedition out in the Great Ravine. I'll tag along.
Yeah. You can actually get extra ingredients for the Muscular Chef by going on expeditions and gathering from specific gathering points. Some are rarer than others, but in general, it's a good thing to do because it gives you more options for the food that you eat. And yeah, I really should get around to it, but I'll be honest, I am slightly burning out from Monster Hunter. I only really play it for the LP now. Like I will finish off the LP, but then after that, maybe by then I will have felt the need to get back into Monster Hunter World, but at the moment I'm not really feeling it too much. But yeah, as you saw just now, I was just rearranging my item pouch just to make things properly organized for when I do get on the field, because when you first go out, your ammo order might not match the order that is in the inventory. So what you probably want to do is rearrange it in your inventory and how it shows up in your item bar, and then make it match how it's arranged in your inventory. So yeah, we're going to go back and fight the Rathian again. This time I'm going to try to capture her because I'm going to try and unlock the special arena quest for her. And before I forget, I need to remember to... Nope, I did. I remember to take the Kulu gloves off. But yeah, if you want to rearrange how the ammo is arranged whilst you're out there to make it match how it's arranged in your inventory, you need to go to your inventory and then you press triangle to rearrange how things are arranged in your item bar, and then you press R1 and L1 at the same time to rearrange ammo. And at this point, I was like, maybe I should check to see if the recoil values on this light bow gun are decent or not. And also to see if I can make any alternatives, but nope. This Jura is light bowgun isn't too bad because it can rapid fire water, and it's also good for spread 2 ammo usage, because I think it only needs like one single recoil mod to get spread 2 ammo down to usable levels. Yeah, I went from close range up to recoil just in case I wanted to use sticky ammo, which I do. I do use sticky ammo, so I guess this recoil mod was a decent idea. But yeah, let's hop to it. So yeah, the Rathian will be in the same place. She pretty much always starts out in the forest area of the Wildspire Waste. Come on, move along. I think I was checking my phone at this time. Probably should have cut this out. There we go. Time to drink some nutrients. Make sure to check the free stuff. You also get free antidotes because we're full up on antidotes already. We can't pick them up, which is kind of annoying. I'll be honest, I think I only used like 1 antidote this entire fight. And one thing I forgot to do actually was to customize my radial menu, because hot bowgun tip, if you put crafting on your radial menu, you can craft ammo amongst other things at literally any point of the game that you're not drinking a potion. So you could be shooting, you could be running around, you could be stunned, you could be paralyzed. It doesn't matter. You can, as long as you're not drinking a potion, you can make ammo and other things like other potions.
Lightweight ranged weapon that's great for quick attacks and maneuverability.
So yeah, that was rapid fire. I only shot once, but I shot off 3 bursts, and those do about 70% damage, full damage. So yeah, one of light bowgun's gimmicks, you could say, or core mechanics is laying down these mines called Wyvern Blast mines. Now, what they do is they explode anytime that they are hit by like a monster or by a bullet or by your light bowgun's melee attack. And what happens is they do damage proportional to how much damage they take. So if they're hit by a really hard attack, I think they'll explode twice for a decent amount of damage. If they're hit by weak attacks, they'll explode something like up to 5 times for less damage per explosion, but more total damage. So yeah, that's how the Wyvern Blast mines work. And if you look at them just above our ammo list, you can watch them respawn. So yeah, Rathian will damage herself during her charges and swipes and stuff, so it's a really good way of yeah, she hit it with the tail and exploded, and it knocked her out of the sky, which is pretty hilarious, to be honest. Yeah, monsters will continually knock themselves out with Wyvern Blast. And as you can see, I'm using spread 1 ammo that we rapid fire, and after every 3-shot burst, we moved back a bit, and that's because our recoil of spread 1 ammo at the very least is at +3. So now we're using sticky ammo, which basically does blunt damage as long as it hits the head. So I'm trying my best to hit the head so I can actually knock out the monster. Yeah, the hitboxes for the Wyvern Blast mines are slightly larger than you think, so you might accidentally hit them with shots that you didn't mean to hit them with, and you could waste a few explosions, but it's no biggie, to be honest. They recharge relatively fast, especially with the focus skill. And one nice thing about Anjanath armor that we're using is that it does have special special ammo boost, I should say, which increases the damage of Wyvern Blast ammo, heavy bowgun special ammos, and bow dragon piercer attacks, which we'll see eventually. Yeah, it's time to just drink an antidote. And she's actually run off. So at this level, at monsters this easy, I don't have to really use up that much ammo that I need to craft in the middle of a fight, but sometimes it's gonna be topped up. And for stuff like sticky ammo, which has low ammo capacities, you can bring a lot of materials for it, but you'll need to learn how to craft in battle if you want to use sticky ammo effectively, I'd say. So now we're using paralysis ammo, and as you can see, that only does 1 damage, but it does paralysis damage that you can't see. And like I said before, for statuses, you want to do as much. You want to basically fill up your invisible meter. So yeah, we managed to paralyze the Rathian, and then I use rapid fire spread ammo to break her head easily. Cool thing about mines, the light bowgun melee attack is actually one of the best attacks to use on the mines because it hits relatively hard, and like I said, hitting the mines harder will make them explode harder, and that's what you want to go for. This bowgun is meant to be more of a normal 2 bowgun, but it's nice to use spread ammo we can. I'm showing off pierce ammo a little bit. As you can see, it pierces the monster. We're a bit too far to use it properly, and it's only pierce 1, so it only does several damage instances. Higher rank pierce ammos go further, so it does more damage because it does its little explosions for longer, but for now, we're not really going to be using pierce ammo, especially not for light bowguns. There aren't really any good light bowguns that use pierce ammo, so no real point bothering. I'm just going to shotgun this Rathian in the face, because it's fun. You will get a decent amount of damage out of normal 2, especially because we rapid fire that, and rank 2 ammo generally does more damage than rank 1 ammo. So yeah, as you can see, I'm using spread 2 ammo, and that's recoil plus 4, and we are like getting pushed back every time we shoot, and it's not practical to use on your main ammo. It's fine to have very slow reload because that's just learning when to reload, but it's not great for recoil, having high recoil, honestly. So yeah, partway through this, I was like, fuck it with the normal 2 spam, and that was not what I wanted to do. I wanted to pick up that footprint instead of put down the mine. Yeah, I decided fuck it with the normal 2 spam. I'm not going to use it that much from now on. Normal ammo is more like a proper sniper rifle, like aim down a reticle, get the right shot on the right part of the monster. So like hit the head as much as possible, something like that. Spread ammo, as you can see, was basically a shotgun. Higher rank spread ammos do more damage instances, so they got more pellets. So yeah, as you can see, I'm using normal 2 ammo to basically snipe the head. Gonna hope to paralyze it before it flies off. Nope. Pierce ammo is all about positioning because you want to basically shoot down the longest axis of the monster as much as possible to get the most damage as you can out of it. But like I said, light bowgun's not the best thing to use pierce on, really. Gonna run after this monster. Do 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 do. I don't actually know what those scratches are. It's probably Diablos of some kind because we haven't officially met him yet. If we place the mine on top of this depression in the desert, or maybe a barrel bomb. I think it has to be a barrel bomb at the very least. If we blow it up, and I think if the Diablos is below it, in the cavern below it, it will come up through the ground and nab whatever monster you're fighting and drag it down below, which is really cool. It's a shame I don't get to show it off, but oh well. But yeah, it starts flying off towards the nest because it started limping. We are going to capture it, so no more cool light bowgun shenanigans. Oh yeah, really important thing about light bowguns I forgot to say. After every shot or mine placement, if you do a double dodge, you'll actually do a slide. So you'll shoot or place your mine, you dodge once, and then on your second shot, you will do a slide that basically moves you a fair bit, and it's really good for dodging attacks. I should have mentioned that earlier. And I show a trank ammo, which is exactly like trank bombs, except instead of popping them down on the ground, you just shoot them. What's nice about trank ammo is that you can buy it from the general store, so no need to make your own trank bombs if you're a bow gunner and you want to capture stuff. Just buy some trank ammo. It's cheap. So yeah, that's light bowgun. I'll probably show it off a bit more because it's a fun weapon and there's a lot of crap you can do with it. I should have showed off the slides a bit more. I mean, I used them throughout the fight because I'm pretty used to using light bowgun. So if you feel like going back and looking at it,
Let's go on an expedition out in the
you
Great
can see
Ravine.
me do a load of
Outside the
slides that I just don't mention until later because I'm dumb like that and I forget to talk about really crucial mechanics of weapons until the very end of the fucking video. But yeah, that was our triple Rathian special for this episode of this Monster World Let's Play. Just gonna do a little bit of housekeeping. We got the Rathian bits to unlock the final Wildspire Waste camp that we hadn't unlocked before. So now we've got all 4. Excuse me.
Yes.
So yeah, we got another rank of Rathian research. Woohoo! If I ever remember to look in the fucking book. Spoiler alert, Rathian's weak to dragon. One of the few monsters to actually be weak to dragon, as it were. Quickly check the quest board to see if we managed to get the special arena quest, and we haven't. You'll know if you see it, but one day I'll figure out how special arena quests work. But for now, thanks everyone for watching another episode of this Let's Play. I'm sorry for the wait, but yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.